Welcome to another weekly wrap up with the weekly candle closing in the next couple of hours, my friends. Once again, we saw Bitcoin trade completely sideways for the weekend, but with the weekly close around the corner, we may see volatility pick back up here soon. As far as the midterm trend goes on the 4 hour, I still personally think Bitcoin looks great. Basically, if we can hold above approximately 93K, I think things are still looking juicy for a bigger move to the upside myself. Of course, anything is possible, but so far, like I said, I'm just not too worried about this little bit of a pullback that we've had so far on the 4 hour, you guys, for a couple of reasons. One is this ascending triangle I've been pointing out now for about a week or two here. And so far, the fact that we did end up getting the breakout above that triangle resistance and now trying to flip that into support, that's what I love to see. The fact that we broke out of a big range and now we're starting to test the top of the old range as the bottom of, as a new potential bottom of a new range here. And not only that, but I'm actually going to just change the colors here just so it's easier to see, but also just on the immediate term trend that we have on the 4 hour here. I've been mentioning this as well. The fact we had our higher high, and our confirmed higher low. And so far we are still holding that structure. So there is no red flags on the 4 hour yet, even on the immediate time frame, just basically since we've started staircasing to the upside here. And I just love that this horizontal support level just happens to line up with, like I said, the old resistance of that ascending triangle. So love to see that. Another thing that I love to see is, once again, bringing up the MDX Trendmaster on the 4 hour here, and just showing that we do have some confluence of support with this indicator as well. This purple line here, as well as this blue line here. Notice that it's all kind of lining up with the support of the fib range that I have pulled up there. So I love to see just how many things are showing potential support for Bitcoin. That's one thing that the crypto market in general has done quite well recently, is that on the way to the upside, it's actually been doing a good job of building a bunch of support along the way. So that if we do see these pullbacks, at least we have something to potentially hold the trend still. So I absolutely love to see that. And guys, for those of you interested in seeing way more examples of how I'm looking at market structure, some of my trade setups, strategies, and so on, be sure to scan the QR code on the screen and sign up to BloFin, my personal no KYC exchange of choice, to gain access to my free Telegram channel, as well as the current promo they are running for my followers. That's new and existing followers for my channel here. Running this promo until January 25th here. So if that is something that interests you, as well as access to my private Telegram, then you know what to do. Scan the QR code there. But yeah, guys, like I said, so far looking pretty good, as well as, I mean, the reason we're here, right, for the weekly close here, just look at this weekly chart that we have, you guys. And I know I've been mentioning this for a couple of weeks now, especially since the last weekly candle close that we had, but basically looking at this RSI divergence, and it still just remains the same as the last couple times I've brought it up, is the fact that this was such a nice warning sign to me. Even when we had our last weekly candle close red here, I was still saying around 90K that I really thought we were going to see some sort of a breakout, because this strength we were seeing on the RSI was a nice early warning sign of strength, because we were just trading sideways for a month or two here, just kind of testing the same resistance level as we did a month prior, but we have significantly more strength. So that was a big warning for me that we were going to end up blasting through that resistance eventually. And we did, right? We got all the way up to about 98K. I still hope to see the bulls push a little bit higher than that. Obviously, anything is possible, and we could just end up reversing and getting wrecked. But also just looking at this weekly candle close, I mean, this is going to close in about 2 hours here. But if we close where we are right now, I would love to see that. I mean, I already like the fact that we had a couple of candle bodies on the weekly chart closing above my little yellow line here, just because that's where these candle bodies were closing in our previous resistance zone. So the fact that we had these bodies closing higher than these bodies, I mean, that was a good sign. But to see us actually closing above the wicks of this resistance as well, that would be a great sign of strength for me. And then even just kind of assuming that early into the next weekly candle, and that could even be in the next few hours, where we could start to see a little bit of a pullback to start the week. And then even realistically, we might only come down and just kind of test this white line here at about 94.8, 94.7K, just to retest this old resistance where we wicked up to here. I wouldn't be surprised to see us come back down and test that level and then go up from there. So we're going to have to see. But obviously on the shorter time frames, if we just end up blasting right through that, then obviously wait for some sort of a lower time frame structure break to start swinging at new long positions. I already have a couple of long positions open. I'm happy to hang on to those for now. But yeah, we're just going to have to see what happens. Hype is looking a little bit weak right now to me on the lower time frames. We did lose a nice 5-minute trend here. I had with the trend master here, had a higher trending buy signal here, and we ended up dropping that level. So invalidating that support looks a little bit weak to me. And you can see that so far we're just respecting the sell trend very nicely here. So hype is still trending to the downside on the lower time frames. I still have about 30% of that position running from earlier last week, but we'll see if the rest gets stopped out at break even or we end up just pushing to further highs. I would love to see that, because with Bitcoin dominance right now, this is one thing I would really like to see this roll over. You guys know I've been talking about this for several streams now, but the fact that we do have these lower trending sell signals on the daily, I do love to see that. I just want to see some strength. I want to see some momentum form from this, right? Because we're still sitting very comfortable, well, a little too comfortably close to this resistance level basically on this chart. I do want to see that eventually make a move and reject this. And if we can end up pushing the Bitcoin dominance to the downside, that would be a huge green light for the altcoin market, in my opinion. It would just be showing that, people are willing to get more into the riskier assets rather than just focusing so heavily on Bitcoin. So I would love to see this end up rolling over. That would be great for coins like Hype, obviously. Render still actually playing out decently. This is a long position that I mentioned. I think I was talking about it in my last stream and it got mentioned. Adrian, I saw you in the chat here today. You had actually pointed this out a couple of streams ago. So far it's still playing out. I never did take an additional laddered entry along the 886 here. My additional entries are more so in the green pocket down here, but still, we've basically been trading sideways around that 786, just kind of hugging that support level for the last couple of days, actually the last few days. So we'll have to see what happens there. But so far, I'm loving to see that we are still holding that support level there. That's very clean structure to me still. The fact that we had this high here, higher high here, that's our confirmed higher low here because it's the lowest point between the two. So we're just finding support so far in that STUBER fib pocket. But even if we drop a little bit lower, we still have that swing fail territory zone that I would be interested in taking a stab at as well. So render still looking pretty good to me. Blur, this is one that I mentioned in the last stream as well. The fact that the MDX Trendmaster with the higher trending sell signals and buy signals on the 4-hour was looking so good, and we were trading right along the support, basically looking at the indicator, holding that support, and played out absolutely beautifully. Basically popped a nice little long off of that support with that indicator. So absolutely love to see it. Still have 3/4 of this guy running. I did take a quarter of the profits when we were basically trading at a double top area. So with the candle bodies, not a perfect top or anything like that, but taking profits along the way, still have 3/4 running because this trend just looks beautiful to me and it's risk-free at this point anyways. So that's something I'm hanging on to for now. Yeah, happy Sunday. Welcome. Thank you for being here with me once again, my friends. Hopefully you all had a fantastic weekend. I hope you guys are having a fantastic 2026 so far. Let me know in the chat how you're all doing. If you do appreciate these live streams and just looking at market structure for what it is, you're just happy to be here. You're just excited about market volatility in general. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And yeah, guys, it's going to be an exciting week ahead. I do like, I mean, this ascending triangle, I've been talking about it for a while now. And if we do end up getting a full measured move, I mean, I've said it a few times that this measured move would take us to approximately 108, 109,000 US dollars. That would be a nice, juicy move to the upside. And so far, it's looking great, right? I mean, I would expect it to take a little while to play out because it is a 4-hour chart. But the fact that we do have this nice, clean looking ascending triangle, and the fact that, like I said earlier, we broke above it, retested it as support here, set a new higher high, came back down, retesting that level again, and so far holding on to support. So support is support until it's broken. And the fact that that support is right on an old resistance level, I do love to see that. But like I said, even if we drop that by just a little bit, if I bring up the trend master, we do have that little bit of support below us, which is also outlined by my green box here. So that's actually about 93.8K. I'm just saying about 93K to give a little extra wiggle room. But really, I wouldn't want to see the price really drop too much below 93.8K. But yeah, not looking so bad in my opinion there. So guys, actually going to be just a very quick one here. Actually, I will take a look at the 5-minute chart a little more on Bitcoin here. I want to bring up the trend master because this is something that caught my eye earlier. Is just that basically we're starting to chop around sideways here for the weekend, which is very common, right? Especially for the last few months, every Saturday, even early Sunday, we just kind of chop around sideways. But so far, it looks like we're starting to try and print a little bit of a trend to the upside. Even with my AI charting tools indicator, you can see these little white lines that it's making, just kind of marking out where the pivots are. You can see where these pivots are just setting higher highs, right? We're just seeing this indicator trend to the upside. We're seeing higher trending buy signals now. We broke this lower trending sell signal. So the lower time frame is starting to look not so bad as well, in my opinion. I would really like to see us end up holding these lows. But like I said, with the 4-hour, there is that support a little bit lower as well. So yeah. Anyways, guys, I think that's about all I really wanted to go over today. Just a nice quick one for you guys, just to kind of see, just to share my thoughts with you, just going into the weekly candle close. Because like I said, I personally think where the weekly candle close is right now looks absolutely fantastic. We can close this weekly candle above these wicks here. I think that's a great sign of strength. Even if we see a little bit of a pullback, technically, as long as we hold above 89K on the weekly, I mean, it would be looking great just to kind of hold this. I mean, ideally holding the candle bodies as well, but just holding some sort of an order block, just holding the structure and continuing staircase into the upside. I think things are looking fantastic. So I'm really hopeful to see that. Ideally, I want to see us flip this old resistance into support. So if we can hold above that, like I said, 94.7K, just kind of come back down and tap that when the new weekly candle opens, and then end up testing that and then blast into the upside, that would be such a great sign of strength to me. I would absolutely love to see it. So yeah. Anyways, guys, I think that's about all I wanted to go over. So one last time, if you appreciate these live streams, please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And if I didn't get to checking any chart requests or anything like that, I'll double check in the chat. It doesn't really look like, oh, there might be a couple in there. So like I said, guys, if I miss any chart requests, rather, I will throw some up in the Telegram when I get a sec shortly after wrapping up the stream here. And just a reminder for those of you who are interested in seeing more examples of some of my favorite trading strategies, how I use Fibonacci's and market structure, and just more of my thoughts on the market in general, do yourselves a favor, scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the description down below. And like I said, my partners at BloFin are currently also giving you guys this special promo running for about another week here until January 25th. So if that is something that interests you, that's a little added bonus for getting involved with my VIP Telegram channel there, you guys. So with that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Thank you so much for being here with me once again. Peace out.